was a man who had everything: wealth, a loving family, and a successful business. At 38, he owned a chain of luxury hotels and lived in a grand villa with his wife, Mira, and their 10-year-old son, Arav. Life seemed perfect, and he believed that his success was the result of his own hard work. One evening, as he sat in his office, gazing at the city skyline through the glass windows, his phone rang. "Sir, the stock market crashed. We've lost a huge amount." His financial advisor's panicked voice sent shivers down his spine. Rohan rushed home, but the bad news didn't end there. Due to some unexpected legal issues, his business faced a major setback, and within a few months, everything he had built crumbled. His once grand villa was now up for auction. The luxurious lifestyle faded away, and soon they moved into a small rented apartment. Mira, always strong, reassured him, "We will rebuild, Rohan, we just need to believe." But Rohan couldn't see past his failure. His self-esteem shattered and depression took hold. A fateful encounter. One evening, unable to bear the suffocating silence of his small apartment, Rohan stepped out. He walked aimlessly until he reached an old park. Sitting on a bench, he sighed, lost in thought. A soft voice interrupted him. "Why do you look so troubled, son?" Rohan turned to see an old man around 70 with a gentle smile. He wore a simple white kurta and had kind, wise eyes. Rohan, hesitant at first, soon found himself opening up. He spoke of his success, his fall, and his despair. The old man listened patiently. Then he asked, "Have you ever heard the story of the unseen blessings?" Rohan shook his head. The old man smiled. "Once a man lost everything and blamed fate. He roamed the streets hungry and angry until he met a blind beggar. The beggar smiled and said, 'You are lucky. You can see the sunrise. You can walk. You have a voice to express your sorrow. I have nothing, yet I am grateful for every breath I take.' That man realized he still had the greatest gifts: his health, his family, and time to rebuild. He stopped seeing himself as a victim and started anew. And do you know what happened?" Rohan was intrigued. What? The man worked hard, but this time he valued everything: every meal, every sunrise, every smile. And eventually, he regained more than he had lost. He was happy, not because of wealth, but because he had learned to see the unseen blessings. The old man patted Rohan's shoulder. "You still have time, son. Don't let what you lost blind you to what you still have." A new perspective. That night, Rohan couldn't sleep. His mind kept returning to the old man's words. He looked around. His son was sleeping peacefully. His wife was beside him. The room was small, but it was filled with love. He still had his family. He still had his health. He still had a chance. The next morning, for the first time in months, Rohan woke up with a purpose. He stopped drowning in self-pity and started looking for opportunities. He used his experience to take up consultancy work, advising small businesses. Though it wasn't the luxury he once had, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: contentment. The final lesson. Months later, Rohan returned to the park, hoping to meet the old man and thank him, but he was nowhere to be found. He asked a vendor nearby, "Do you know the old man who sits here?" The vendor smiled. "Ah, you mean Baba? He used to come here every evening, but he passed away last month." Rohan's heart sank. "Passed away?" The vendor nodded. "He helped many people with his wisdom. He always said, 'No wealth is greater than a grateful heart.'" Tears welled in Rohan's eyes. He looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, Baba." As he walked back, he felt lighter. He had lost everything once, but he had gained something greater: a new way to see life. Moral of the story: we often focus on what we lose and forget what we still have. True success is not just in wealth, but in recognizing life's unseen blessings.